He's the former police chief for the city of Los Angeles, one time the police commissioner for the city of New York, and the man responsible for reformation of the LAPD, perhaps more than any other chief in the city's history. William Bratton joins us from New York. So, Mr. Bratton, the mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, a few months ago in April was supporting an increase to the LAPD budget of about 7%. Since then, though, he's changed his mind and says things have changed. He wants a $150 million cut to the LAPD budget, in part because he believes we should put in different folks other than police officers to deal with the homeless and the mentally ill. Bring in mental health technicians. And those are jobs police officers are not equipped to do and don't want to do anyhow. And that as a result, you might not need as many officers as we've had before, which is why we're looking at a reduction of levels that we haven't seen in over a decade. What's wrong with that?
It's a great idea because it's something we did many years ago when I was chief of police. We call them smart cards. Police officer out with a clinical specialist. Is the mayor planning to replace those 1,000 officers with 1,000 of these clinical specialists? If so, good luck. It's going to take them quite a while to hire them. In the meantime, sit back and watch your crime rate go through the roof. Los Angeles already, even with 10,000 officers, has one of the lowest ratios of officers per population in the country, something I know very well because I campaigned very hard to get those additional 1,000 officers. And so in one swoop of the pen, we're going to throw them away. Good luck. Last time New York had, LA had 9,000 officers. You had crime going through the roof, and that's the future of LA, guaranteed.
What impact do you think the current climate is having on the morale of police officers here and across the country?
Many of the reforms that are being pushed will, in fact, have an impact on police effectiveness. For example, that some of the things that are being proposed around the country in the defunding of police would significantly reduce the officer morale that is so critical. Officers who feel that they are needed, feel that what they are doing is valuable. There's a proposal being put forth by a woman in Congress, in New York State, that effectively would require police officers to buy personal liability insurance, that they would have to effectively buy their own insurance rather than being covered by the state or the city that they work for. That's really going to do a lot for the ability to recruit new officers as well as retain current officers. There's such an anti-police sentiment in the country among certain groups, among certain political entities in this country. We have not seen anything like it in the 50 years I've been associated with policing. And the true impact of it is yet to be seen. The short-term impact, we are seeing rising crime rates.
So right now, the LAPD, the racial makeup of the department pretty much mirrors that of the city. But do you expect that to change based on the current climate? Is there going to be a problem with recruitment?
So you're going to have two compounding features. One, disincentive, particularly for minority young men and women to join police, where they're going to be vilified by their neighbors and others, asking why do you want to join what they effectively think of as the enemy. Secondly, losing large numbers of officers who are going to take advantage of reaching retirement age and retire earlier than they might have in the past. The full effect of this, we don't know. A positive coming out of this is the idea of reform, but the reforms that are being advocated, it's really too much too soon. And a lot of it's being thrown out there as political rhetoric, and the rhetoric becomes, unfortunately, public policy. And then, effectively, you have chaos.
What is it about policing and police reform that you believe policymakers and the public aren't taking into consideration?
A lot of this is fueled by anti-police bias that is effectively kind of payback time. And unfortunately, who's going to suffer in that payback? It's going to be the general public. The general public that's going to have fewer cops to protect them. We've never had a time where there's been so much else churning. In years past, we could focus on the police exclusively, on community relations exclusively. But now there's so many other things to focus on. It is tough times for the country. We've come through tough times in the past, and let us all hope. And I'm an eternal optimist that I think that we're going to have a rough road ahead, but when we come up the other side, maybe we'll get what everybody is looking for.
Former LAPD Chief William Bratton, thank you for taking the time.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
NBC4's news conference program this week is preempted at 9 o'clock by NBC Sports. We will be back next week at that time. I'm Conan Nolan. Have a great Sunday.